Hi everyone, it's Moa aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today we are back with a blended malt, and it's this lovely Monkey Shoulder. Monkey Shoulder is of course quite a popular blended malt that you will see often in bars. Monkey Shoulder originally was made up with whiskies from 3 different distilleries, and it's by William Grant & Sons, so it's from Balvenie, Kininvie and Glenfiddich. It's not entirely sure that it's only from these 3 distilleries in the recipe today, so nowadays the recipe is a closely guarded secret, but perhaps if you're really good with flavours you might be able to figure it out. After all, it is owned by William Grant & Sons, and I usually find it quite interesting to see in blends what components there might be in there, because you can usually see what different distilleries and elements that the company owns. But for sure, interesting flavours are combined in this dram. But these 3 components I believe are also represented here on the bottles with the 3 little monkeys that I think you can see. It's a bit of a nice bottle design there as well. So Monkey Shoulder is blended in smaller batches. This one that I have here is batch 27. And of course, like I said, it is a blended malt, so it only consists of different single malts from different distilleries that are blended together, but does not contain any grain whiskey. This whiskey is bottled at 40% ABV, and it actually has a bit of a funny name, Monkey Shoulder, and it is a term they used to describe a condition you might get if you were working on the malting floors, back when you had a lot of traditional malting floors. So when the maltmen would turn the barley using their kind of big spades, they're called shiels. They would primarily do it with one arm, or on one side you would say. And that would cause one of the arms to hang down a little bit lower like a monkey's, and that would be called a monkey shoulder. So that's the origin of the name on this whiskey. But yeah, let's have a little nose. It's just so fruity. It's immediately that kind of, the artificial, like really fresh pear sweetness notes that come up. Oh, and these whiskies have been maturing on first full ex-bourbon casks and then married together or vatted together for at least 6 months to get all those flavours to come together before bottling as Monkey Shoulder. And the nose is very pleasant, very fresh. And those fruity notes, maybe a bit of kind of orange as well. So orange and pear candy sweetness. Maybe slightly grassy as well. Yeah, but let's have a taste. Slàinte mhath. I would say it's more malty on the palate, but it does have a lovely sweetness to it. Yes, kind of those, like maybe like sugary barley notes, but still quite crisp sweetness. Yeah, so definitely malty on the palate. It has this kind of lovely, like I said, barley sweetness note. It doesn't feel dry, however. It just still feels fresh and mouth-watering. But it's not as kind of smooth, fresh fruitiness on the palate. It's more that lovely grain element. But not as sweet as a grain whiskey, more kind of that malty note that is quite dominant. It's so light and easygoing. You could definitely see why this is a good component in cocktails, because I think this specific flavour would go great with so many different flavours and ingredients. You could make a really nice whiskey sour, because I think the lemon notes would go really well with that kind of malty note. The malty note feels like it's a stability or like a good groundwork in the whiskey, and that can be built up with other flavours. So if you do a sour, you can have those sour elements, which would be lovely. If you make like a mojito style drink but you swap it for whiskey, I think that could be really lovely as well, because you do get a little bit more of that depth in the whiskey. I don't think you want a whiskey that is too sweet or too smoky or too sherried. I think something like this works really well in cocktails, just because you have so many different options with it. I believe that is of course one of the reasons that they have created this whiskey, that it would work well on a bartender scene, for example. Of course, if you use other whiskies, you can kind of create more niche cocktails, but if you're looking for an all-around good whiskey, or perhaps something just light and easygoing to get you into whiskey, or just to sit and sip, I do think it's really nice on its own as well. A slight spice in this as well, but more like that kind of cereal spice. Not overpowering at all, very smooth. Even though it is smooth though, it has something in it, so it kind of feels slightly rough on the palate. I wonder if it's those kind of malty notes that kind of make it just slightly rough on your tongue. So even though it is quite smooth and easygoing, it still has other things going on for it. A malty palate has some kind of grassy notes, like freshly cut grass, and of course some of that crisp barley sweetness. But quite a, yeah, definitely an easygoing dram. Crisp and clean and just, yeah, nice to sit with. It's not too difficult, just easy to like, welcoming as well. So as always, I'd love to hear what you think of this. Have you tried Monkey Shoulder before? There's also a Smoky Monkey, so a bit of smoky elements in that one instead, but you tend to find that one only in bars and not in retail. But please let me know what you think of Monkey Shoulder, and if there's anything else you would like me to try and perhaps review in the future. And please like this video if you like it, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of my really kind of fun upcoming videos. As always, have a nice day. Slán. Skål!